Experts are drawing a direct line between redlining and environmental change. One study found that areas redlined in the 30s are now hotter than wealthier areas. Vanessa Mashanya is in a city that's working to make things better for everyone.
These are our pears, and they are looking fabulous. Dear God.
We're at Broad Rock Community Garden. This is an urban green space. I feel like we have to create opportunities for people to see that they can be the change in their own communities to undo the trauma that disinvestment has lobbied, towards communities of color, especially formerly redlined communities.
Duran Chavis is trying to right an environmental wrong in his neighborhood that's been generations in the making.
And these are all major arteries in the city that lack tree canopy.
On Richmond's south side, heat radiates from the asphalt and relief is hard to find. This green garden is a way to begin to rectify that, but he says the way his neighborhood is set up today was no mistake.
The work that we enjoy doing is working to remedy that neglect.
This is a map of Richmond from the 1930s that banks used to determine who to loan to. The neighborhoods highlighted in red, including the south side, were redlined. Looking closer at the reasons, it was redlined because its population was 95% black. This isn't just a Richmond problem. 200 American cities were redlined. Today, the majority of those redlined neighborhoods are primarily black, Latino, and low income. According to research done at the University of Richmond, formerly redlined neighborhoods are on average 5 degrees hotter and can be up to 50 degrees hotter than neighborhoods that were not. Because of a lack of investments over decades, formerly redlined neighborhoods have less parks and trees and more asphalt and buildings, leaving folks who live there more susceptible to heat-related illness and impacts of climate change. This is called the urban heat island effect.
What does that say when the neighborhood that you lived in, all the people look like you, and there's all this abandoned property? Then you go across the bridge onto another side of town and you see just all of the things, but none of those folks look like you. I think that does something to the consciousness of a people.
We're looking at 17.6 acres that has been designated the first new public park in the south side of the city of Richmond since the 1970s.
A few streets over from Broad Rock, hidden behind kudzu and chain link, is a dirt path that will one day soon lead to a brand new green space.
A lot of different initiatives that are happening in the city right now. It's part of a realization of how past actions have led to current realities.
When the city of Richmond saw the data on the heat and green space disparity, they put together a team and made it their mission to make sure everyone is within a 10-minute walk of a park.
I think more green space coming into Southside will show is that we value the people that live here and we want people to enjoy the space right outside their front door.
Javon Bowles is a community advocate on the park initiative, making sure the South Side has a voice in its creation. She says while there's excitement around the project, the skepticism of some neighbors cannot be ignored.
There has been a lot of broken promises, particularly in the 8th and the 9th district of Southside Richmond. However, a lot of people are also grateful for the opportunity for people to see, again, that there's something beautiful already right here.
This green here is where people do meditation and yoga, and it's dope because it's like, that's something else that I never imagined that I would see cruising down this block, when I was a kid.
Addressing systemic wrongs that were put into motion generations ago takes time, but it also takes care. And while neighbors like Duran put in the work, he also hopes the care he and others put into these spaces catches on.
There's so many other things that come along with it, but we can pivot from this point and then radiate outward. I really feel like that's the message that I would like people to hear.
For The Race, I'm Vanessa Mashanya.
Illegal drug grows hidden deep in forests across the country are doing major environmental damage. We're hiking into a grow operation with forest rangers to see how they're fixing the destruction when The Race continues.